check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
I hear you loud and clear, Coach Jay, on this sleepy summer day.
Sleepy summer day for sure. Hopefully everyone is awake. Happy Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, right? Today is Tuesday. Got a good mic check. Audio, video looks good. Sounds good. Good to go. Welcome everyone to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time here, the goal of this session is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before. We believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we could take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. If this is our first time meeting, I'm Coach Jay. Been a Topstep performance coach since June of 2023. And that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the futures trading industry for 4 decades. I'm here to share some experience, some knowledge, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Coach Paul, we're getting pretty close to doing At the Buzzer on YouTube. Pretty close to our year anniversary. I got to check exactly what that date is, but we're pretty close to it. I want to thank everyone who joins us every day, hits the like button, has subscribed to this during this session, and continues to join us. If you have any ideas for how you want to improve At the Buzzer, let us know. Send me a message in Discord. Send me a message in the chat here. We put out a casting call a couple of weeks ago. Did get some replies there. We should be reaching out to some of those traders who did submit that. But if you want to come on the show, let us know. Love to do that. Review your trades as well. Maybe get some coaching, Coach Paul and I, on your strategies. You were going to say something, Coach Paul?
Yeah, 1 year.
Getting close.
Really,
getting close. Yeah, we started in August. I got to get the exact date, but we are pretty close to it. Paul wants me to record the intro. We could record the intro. It's fun saying it though. One of my favorite podcasts that I watch, they do a very similar intro every time they do the show. Sometimes we have something to talk about while the markets are going on, but the intro is the same. Lets you know that you're starting the show. Is it me or is there no sound? I think there's sound.
Good audio and video I'm seeing.
Yep. Good audio and video. So let's get into it. The news today. Stocks recovered as hopes that Trump is still open to trade talks outweighed his comments that the U.S. will not offer extensions to the August deadline with reciprocal tariffs to take effect. Trump imposed a 50% tariff on copper today. We'll take a look at the copper market. We're probably 2 days away from sending a EU letter, a letter to the EU. A letter is a deal. We did see Amazon Prime Day starting today. If you bought anything on Prime Day, let us know. I haven't bought anything yet, but I definitely got to take a look. Could do some shopping. And tariffs will start being paid on August 1st. There has been no change to this date, and there will be no change. So we've seen the tariff deadline kind of get pushed back a couple of times already. What the president is saying there is that August 1st is the date that they'll start getting paid. So anyone who's saying, oh, we continue to push it down the line, knowing that tomorrow was supposed to be that deadline, apparently that was not the case, and it's always been August 1st. I think for most of us, this is probably the first time we're hearing that August 1st date, but got to believe people when they tell you something, I guess. That is not a political thing. We've literally seen that date change a couple of times.
Yeah, and you know what? How do you trade with a moving target? You don't.
Yeah.
You trade your plan. It's if you were short copper today and you didn't have a stop, you learned a big lesson.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't describe everything that goes on with the tariffs, but they have taken over the headlines.
Yes, they have. And what we know that means for us is volatility.
Absolutely. At least in other parts outside of the equities.
Right.
We're basically unchanged.
Pretty much
Well,
unchanged. Go ahead,
what
coach.
were the what were the leading or the biggest movers on the day?
Let's take a look. Today to the downside, there are 35 different markets we can trade with Topstep accounts. Today to the downside, in third place, we had gold down 0.92%, corn down 1.37%, and natural gas, our biggest percentage mover to the downside, at 1.67%. To the upside, we had RBOB gasoline futures up 1.62%, cattle up 1.85%, and copper, our biggest percentage mover to the upside, 50% tariffs on copper, making new all-time highs, up 9.31%. At one point, it was up 17% on the day. Uh, it's a huge move. Why don't we just take a look at that chart really quick to see what that kind of looks like? Uh, that's what a 50% tariff will do right there. This move, high to low, was just under 18%, and that is in a 3-minute candle. Like Coach Paul said, if you were short and you didn't have a stop, this is why you have a stop. There's would have probably been some slippage on this, but at least you may have been able to get out. There's really no way to control that. I would frame out that candle. It's the second time we're kind of seeing this blow off top move in copper. We had it a couple months ago. This one a little different. Where this one last time, Coach Paul, was a hammer candle.
Yep.
This one is a
This is
little different.
this is a panic candle.
Yes, it is.
Um, 3 minutes. So one thing when you're looking at daily charts, you always break them down to see just when you see a chart like that. Our first front of mind thing is, wow, that was buying all day, right? Oh no, it was buying. I even put a 1 minute. I think it just this is where all goes. Just everyone leaned to the wrong side or is on one side of the boat. It was just that quick. One,
Yeah.
2, 3, 3 minutes. If you went to the kitchen to grab a snack and you come back, you either made a fortune or lost your account if you didn't have a stop. So these things, anything, we say it all the time, anything can and most importantly will happen sooner or later. So wow.
Yeah. What a move.
How
Uh,
much is that worth?
it's a great question. That's a great question. Let's see.
9%. It's about
I'll pull up a calculator. We'll figure it out. But let's round out our big four. To round out our big four, we had crude oil up 0.56%. The S&P pretty much flat, down 0.06%. We already talked about gold, down 0.91%, and we have the Nasdaq pretty much flat as well, up 0.9%. I'm gonna pull up a futures calculator real quick, and we'll get the 250 a point copper. Was anyone in copper? I saw somebody say that they were in copper and got out right before right before that move started.
got out of
You
a
did you
short.
yeah, you didn't know that was gonna happen. You got out of a long. There was
Oh,
no way you
yeah.
could have anticipated a 50% tariff today unless you're an insider. And if you are, uh, I can give you my email address. 5.896. That's just a joke. That is is that right? That's a $22,000 move with a one lot. Holy shit! Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
Well, guess what?
22,000. What's up?
Is that if that's 22,000 here, and that's the copper is I don't know if to tell you is a main source of they call it Dr. Copper.
Mm,
And for copper measures economic activity because copper is used in in so many things. That is hugely inflationary,
mm,
at least in the United States. Because guess what? Uh, the copper producers or users are not going to just eat that cost. They can't. They can't afford it.
right.
So this is going to be quite the drama going forward. Um, save your copper pennies. I have a whole big jar of them. They just got. I just gained 10%.
There you go. 10% on your pennies.
Yep,
It adds up.
it does add up.
Adds up.
Yeah,
All right.
scrappers are gonna be th yeah, they just got a big raise.
100%. But let's go down to let's take a look at our big four. This might be a pretty quick review, to be honest with you, 'cause equity markets were fairly range bound. And again, that does not mean that there's not opportunity. Shout out to KJ, KJ Futures in number one in our top set leaderboard. Put up an 18 grand day today, trading mostly the NASDAQ. So there's opportunity in it. I don't want to say there isn't.
Yeah.
We're just saying that it didn't go anywhere. Go ahead, coach.
No, that's wow, that's a big hats off to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty big day. High to low range in the NASDAQ today was 159-ish points. Daily ATR is about 302, so about half a daily range. Uh, what are we looking at here on the daily, Coach Paul? Validation.
Consolidation. I mean, what is there to say? We're still in an uptrend. Um, do we have the possibility of a 3-bar reversal? Hmm,
On a daily, potentially.
potentially, but this is still in an uptrend. Technically speaking, there's not like don't want to. There's nothing much to say. It's
No.
just like it was a nothing day. It was a nothing burger.
Yeah.
Um, as far as the overall picture. Um, let's look at the half hour.
We did set the low on that first half an hour last night. Uh, Not the
Yeah,
most urgent trade to the upside, but a decent, much cleaner price action last night than we had during the New York session. We got back above that 200 moving average on the 30. It's kind of slow grind up. That 30-minute candle, though, did set the low. So if you were range trading this, ton of opportunity here for you today.
it did- uh, obviously someone really carved out up. That's um. What else is there? I didn't realize I've been dealing with technical issues all day.
Mm,
Um, that's quite the move in the overnight.
yeah, yeah, pretty nice move last night. Really started going when that Asia session opened up right here, closing above that first range, and pretty nice trade. I feel like it kind of fits the theme of what we've been seeing when some of the best trades happen overnight, best trend trades happen overnight, and we do get some chop, some range in the New York session, and that's exactly what it was today. Uh, like you said, Coach Paul, no need to overanalyze this one. Markets in balance, identify that balance and fade the extremes of it in until it breaks. Anything else you got on the equities, Coach?
Let's look at Rusty.
Take a look. Here it is on the daily, using that 200 moving average as a support.
Hanging in there. Nothing much there also. Um, but still hanging above the 200. Uh, boy, option sellers are just getting fat.
Hmm.
It's just, it's going nowhere fast. So, nothing, all the same. What about Dow?
Looks kind of gross compared to all the other ones. It looks heavy.
That looks like a 3-bar reversal.
Yeah, that might be what you were looking for in the Nasdaq. The Dow does not look great right there.
Yeah, let's just keep an eye on that. Let's look at the half hours. Imagine it finished under the 200. Oh yeah.
A pretty indecisive day again today in the Dow, but looks a lot like the Nasdaq on the shorter time frame on this 30-minute, but on the daily that looked it didn't look good.
No, that is literally a dead cat bounce. Cat lovers, I'm sorry. A dead dog bounce.
Oh
Oh,
wait.
I just got myself in trouble everywhere.
And in comparison, here's the Russell, right, which was probably the strongest of the four today. Russell was up 0.76%, right? And we've talked about this with the Russell needing to play catch up on a higher time frame. It might be the better range market to trade, up 0.76% while everything else was pretty much flat. Uh, all right. Anything else on the equities?
No.
Oop, this might be a short one today, guys. Uh, this might be a short one today, and we say that all the time, but I actually feel it. Like, what? Unless you guys have
You
a
know,
ton of questions, we can get to questions. If you got questions to ask, today might be the day to do it because we're gonna breeze through these markets. Here's gold, coach, on a daily. What are we looking at here?
sideways again. But it, exactly. There was good opportunity in there.
Absolutely,
But
gold was
there's
to
still,
me the best trade of the day.
yeah, it's still under the 50 and the 20 but we're just going sideways. But a decent range. There was decent volume on the sell side. So let's break it into a half hour.
Let's do that. Take a look at the half hour in gold. Last night got some urgency. Mm, maybe like a quick shuffle. Wasn't really running, but we had the first 30-minute range that was the high of the day. We did gap up, and volume left that range pretty early. I know Dakota did take a long last night in slow markets, looking for us to trade back into this range. We can see the rejection, right? Once that VWAP left, I don't remember who it was in the slow markets chat last night, but they were saying, at what point does VWAP leaving the range confirm a short? And would you take it? And this is enough here, right? There's separation here with this VWAP leaving this range. Clearly, I could say that in hindsight because this market sold off. But if we look at this compared to some of the other, compared to the Japanese yen, not as convincing, right? And we can see the volume really didn't start to pick up, and we didn't really leave that range until much later. Right? Gold is a little different. We left that range in the first four or so candles, and yes, we did peak above it, but it's an opportunity to limit your risk here because the market is clearly saying that it's done trading this range. Uh,
Yeah, that was pretty heavy. And look what we did on the lows.
yep. Yes, we did. We'll talk about that one. I did take two trades in gold today. Ended up the day overall in my XFA negative because of a Japanese yen trade and a Dow trade. Gold kind of kept me in balance a little bit with a short early on during fast markets and then a long a little bit later. Um, that long also during fast markets? Yeah, it was. So two trades in gold today. And let's go down to a shorter time frame. I'll kind of break down what I was looking for both of those trades. The first one, we know we have the gold open at 8:20, 7:20 Central Time. That Hogue and JD look at. I kind of look at whenever volume comes in for gold, that's when the open is. And around that equity open, we had 3-minute opening range here and urgency. That VWAP left that range pretty quick. My first short in gold was 33.21. You can see I was kind of late to this trade. But with that urgency, was it 33.21 or 33.31? Nope, it was 33.31. It was 33.31. There
Yeah,
you go. That's a much better entry.
I
uh,
was like,
yeah, it
man,
was
you got
31.
you took on some risk.
Yeah. It's like, were you sleeping at your desk? What the hell were you waiting for? Um, 33.31 was the short. And again, we have this urgency leaving this range. So I want to be assertive here with getting in, right? The market is going. I want to get in because of this picture, right? Hopefully you guys can kind of understand if we had to put a picture in the textbook of urgency in a trade, this is it. We establish a range and the market says we're leaving that range. We don't love these prices. We're out of here. What kind of helped stay in this trade was the follow through volume that we saw. We had a pretty big spike of volume here that had the potential to be had the potential at that point to be a reversal, right? We did have high volume, but look at what we never did. We never closed above 50% of that, Coach Paul, and volume
No.
kept going lower.
Wow. You know, let's look at the London Open.
Let's take a look at the
I wonder
London Open.
my feeling is we got the same setup. It's
Here
like the passing
is
the deck.
yeah. Here's London.
Okay, now your turn to sell.
Yeah, they tried to buy
And
it a
we're
little bit
looking.
early. Kind of a fake out here. Volume really never left that range. Was that enough? Was that convincing enough to buy it there? Right, 4 hour setup. Look at where that's happening. We got 3350, which is a major level right here. In order for us to get through that major, we need to see some convincing buying, and it wasn't there. Right, that VWAP barely left that range. Not the same type of urgency. And again, we need to let that develop a little bit, right? We said we've had some people say before, well, how do you know?
You don't.
My yeah, you don't. My gold short entry wasn't perfectly at the, you know, high of the or the low of that range. Let it establish a little bit because the highs and lows of the move aren't meant for us, right? But once the market says that, hey, we have the potential to go this way, then my job is to get in with the flow. And like you said, coach, this started in London.
Yeah. Now let's go. Now let's look. We looked at Asia. Let's look at it again because that is the first green range, right? That we went into in London. That's from the Asian Open.
Yes, this is Globex right here.
All right. Hmm. Hmm. So short covering, selling, and to me now, I with a little more information, seems like we're getting liquidation of gold.
Yep.
I mean, every opening around the world, we just call it passing the deck. And wow, it definitely had that flavor. Like, okay, your turn.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
it's
Go ahead.
usually that's an entity. Like to me, a central bank or a country liquidating something because they're not selling 50.
Yeah, Power of 12 wants to know why I marked this candle right here. This was the London session open, 3 a.m. Eastern time, 2 a.m. Central. Why I marked this one, this was the first 30 minutes, this range here. London Open. Really, we could say this was the London Open because that's where the most volume traded. Even still, the market respects that range. Yeah, this is just liquidation, Coach Paul.
Oh,
This
coach,
this
go
is
back
that
to yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this is that example we did the other day of liquidation, right? Where I might be a buyer and you're a seller with more size to sell than
Yeah.
I had to buy, and I might be buying and trying to get out of here, and all you do is continue to sell, and we just see this market, you know, really nice sell off.
So let's look at that opening again in London,
London, hmm
and let's look at the volume on that high. And that's a exhaustion buying
yep,
when we
yeah, for
closed
that time
under.
frame,
Yep. So even if you got long and you see this volume here, we get underneath that volume for that session. Uh, it's a, it's a hint. It's a direct hint. That buying it has no follow through. Plus, we're under VWAP. Get the hell out of the way.
yeah,
So that's exhaustive buying. We don't see that. Well, at least my eyes are trained for exhaustive selling, and maybe
hundred
I'm
percent
just guilty of seeing what I want to see.
for
But
sure.
that is definitely the case of exhaustive buying.
Agreed. Agreed. Again, really nice sell the rest of the day. The target on this short, once we get in shorter time frame trades, we can go 2 to 1. Shout out to Coach Paul for the 2 to 1 suggestion. That's where I took off half of the position. I was short 4 micros. Uh, from there, the target, just looking at this chart, the way it's been working out was taking out this prior day low, which was down at 330440. We eventually got there. I kind of fat fingered and got out of my trade, but a pretty nice one. And then called it out in the chat. Yarden, Yarden
Oh,
called it
there
out
it
in
is.
the chat. The highest volume 3 minute candle, and I think it actually looks a little bit different on on micros. It was the highest volume on the minis. it was close, but again, different assets, different time frames. It's going to look a little bit different. Either way, this was that J trade setup, right? So if you ask why I took the long, uh, it's right there. We got exhaustion, which is high volume at an extreme. It's not a coincidence that this is happening at that major 3,300 level. And once we close above that and we get some decent urgency in VWAP, I want to be in this trade. We waited for the close outside of that range, Coach Paul, and initially it looked like we missed the trade, right? Where it closed 3 points higher. Hogue said it. He's just like, I got some FOMO. He said mofo, but because Eddie had the verbal typo the other day. But he's like, I got some FOMO from this trade. Um, for me, I put a bid in at 33.02. Hogue put one in as well and said, hey, you know what? If it's that good, give me a quick pullback and we'll go from there. Uh, Bought it at 33.02s. Volume started to leave that range, and it was not a trade that you needed to take off really the rest of the day. The target on this for me initially was view out from the New York session. Once we hit that point, we can see the momentum kind of die out a little bit. Are there some points left? Yes, but at this point, the trade is kind of over here.
Well, like you said, on a day trade, a 2-to-1 against the trend too. Like you
Yep.
said, again. Um, so look at the now with this analysis going a little deeper. I'm starting to feel gold is getting liquidated. Like, in dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
Um, it was best opportunity of the day.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Pretty nice trading in gold. We already went over copper. It went pretty parabolic. Parabolic, the right word there? It went insane.
Parabolic, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Platinum had a pretty decent day as well. Platinum continues to trade in a pretty nice range, providing opportunities. Today was kind of very much balanced. Uh, Anything else on metals, coach, or do we want to go to the energies?
Did we look at silver? Silver
There's
and gold.
silver on the daily, holding that 20 moving average.
Holding. To me, higher, a series of higher. But silver's a tough trade.
Or are we going to hear tariffs on silver next?
Yeah, no, I'll buy calls. It still looks like it has some good upside potential. I don't. That's a pretty bullish chart in my eyes. But look at, we're going sideways. Um, nah, I don't see it. I'm still not going to trade silver. I used to many years ago.
Yeah.
It's it's tough to trade for me,
There's
at
yeah,
least.
and it's expensive for Topstep accounts. There's $25 a tick. You know, there are micros, but silver's a pretty expensive contract. Kind of made the highs of the day as like gold did in that first 30 minutes. But again, no urgency. Decent trade once the volume started to pick up. You can see the volume pattern here. Once that New York session kind of started, but interesting day in silver as well. Let's get to some questions in the chat before we go over to oil. Uh, we see all your questions. We got one from Edwin, Tess, and Locke Wayman. So let's get to Edwin's questions first. What do you think about 15-minute price action? What do you think about price action today on the Nasdaq on a 15-minute chart with the 200 moving average? Take a look. 15-minute chart, 200 moving average. It looks like the 200 wasn't really respected. Maybe somewhat. You can see kind of high of the range. We did have this one push above it. Yeah, if you could short it up here against that 200, if that's a level that you look at with decent risk, right, and not looking to only lose 10 points on a trade, because we did have a couple of pushes above that. Not a
I
bad
don't
look.
know. For me, it looks like a day I'd lose some money.
Yeah, same, same.
Um, I mean, it just violated every one of the moving. It's you know what? It's the definition of a balanced market. So, boy, my eyes are hurting. Um, but I don't see much there except for indecision. Now
Agreed.
you said we said the EMA. This is an SMA.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
let's
let's change it.
let's see what a EMA looks like.
A little different.
What I will say here is the 20 and the 50 are under. They are under. Yeah. So when did that go under? This morning. That
Yes.
is okay. So it's under the 200, and it's not holding. To me, that's right there. I'm done. It just describes to me when I see that we're crossing and then the price is just moving, but it's not trending. Why is it not trending? Because of the 20 and the 50 are on there, there's 200 and it's violating both sides. It's literally an indecisive market. I catch that as early as I can. There's no reason for my trading. I'm going to lose money in that. I'm just not going to blow an account doing it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's like getting a 3 and a 5 in poker. What am I doing with this?
Right.
I'm not gonna even ante in, I'm folding, and I'm looking or even if I ante in, I'm out. I don't have to push it. But that that has the definite let's push that chart to we don't we just see the opening. And let's go through step by step. You know what I mean? Push the chart to the right where we just see the
Sorry, I was
opening.
just responding to a comment in the chat. Remember, guys,
Yeah,
anything we say on these shows for educational purposes only, not a suggestion to take a trade. Don't follow our trades. Um, anytime you
don't
see a trade
listen to
on,
us.
yeah, anytime you see us take a trade on the air, it is delayed. So hopefully you can understand why we took the trades, but call it your own. Okay, here
Yeah.
we go.
So here, what do we see? And I'm just to review. And by the way, this is a review. We see selling, heavy selling on the opening, VWAP moving down, right? Breakout of that opening. So we have new lows. VWAP's moving along. We're still under VWAP every half an hour. And then one candle right there. VWAP did not leave the range. It's evidence that there is no follow through selling.
Yep,
Matter of fact, that was my day trade. I lost on 2 micros in the S&P. It was similar to this.
so I'm
Okay,
out.
I'm just done. Now, I will tell you this: if you're a range trader, this is gold.
Oh yeah, yeah, yep.
So,
I think Dolby said it in the chat this morning. He said, uh, or he said it yesterday. I said, love these ranges. I said, Dolby, this is your time to eat, right? This is where, hey, let the big dog eat during this time, and you step out of the way. I know for myself. I think just the nature of looking at markets through a breakout lens or a trending lens, I can get chopped up. Can I make money in range bound markets? I can, but you know, Shaq didn't become a Hall of Famer shooting threes
no heat or free throws,
or free throws.
or maybe he became famous for not making them. But
Right,
it, if I'm the coach, I don't care.
right.
um, yeah, that's so. There is some evidence right there. Think about what happened. VWAP got to the edge, didn't follow through, and then it's unleashed. There's not. It's saying there's no urgency. This market's in balance. Now you got some more information.
So on
Wow.
top of balance, on top of balance. Again, we've heard traders call these cash register days before, where you
Yep.
identify the extremes of the range and you just make money on both sides of it. If this is your type of trading, take advantage of days like this. Uh, take advantage of days like this. All right, we were on gold. Let's go over to crude oil. Edwin, hopefully we answered your question. How do you make that risk to reward box? So there's this tool here in the drawing tools. Where is it? Where is it? Projection. Should just check this whole menu because I use half of the stuff in it. Uh, 5 icons down, you have projection. You have long position, short position. The long position, you just go like that. Thing from there. Uh, all right.
Great question, because I didn't even know that.
There, you learn something new every day.
If you're not learning, you're dying. Great.
Uh, all right. Let's crude oil. Let's go over crude. Crude moved pretty well today. Uh,
Uh,
Crude oil, here we had that big sell off range. We'll take a look at that. We'll keep looking at that. We know yesterday we closed inside of that range, bouncing off of the 200 moving average, closing above the 20. We're accepting inside this range. I'm looking at this 72.50 for a potential target at some point. Uh, take a look at the half hour in crude. What are we looking at here, Coach Paul?
well, we had two-sided trade there too.
Yeah, we did.
Early sell last night after yesterday's rally and that beautiful buy from Sunday night. Um, Early breakout. I don't think though that it made a 2-to-1 on the half hour. Um, but we did get a bit of a no, we didn't. Did we get a J trade in London?
We did. So in London, maybe go down to a shorter time frame. I know there was a decent trade at 9 a.m. Central Time this morning in London. Did we get one? It wasn't a great one.
No,
Maybe, yeah.
man, it's mamby pamby, so it's not because Coach
70
J is not a mamby pamby kind of guy.
is 67 half meant something though. We did see some volume in there during London, right? We did see that reversal. Wasn't extreme volume, but that price meant something to somebody.
Well, that's a little more defined there.
A lot more defined. Right back to that range.
I mean,
Uh we closed above it and there we go.
so Paul H, did you get in on that? Well, I was sleeping because now I'm gonna have to change my hours. Maybe or move to the London area. Just wow, this is not uncommon. So nice trade there. Um, Damn, I like that trade. So nice move there. Let's see what happened. Let's show your 9 o'clock trade, Coach.
The 9 o'clock trade, MM8877. You like the gold long? Yeah, it was a great trade. Great trade. I'm trying to keep up with your messages in the chat, but it was a great trade. Here's that high volume, one of the highest volume candles we had all day, and again we close above it. Same setup. It's the DNA, Coach Paul. You say this all the time in our conversations. DNA of a good trade. This is one of my favorite setups. I don't care where it happens. It's one of my favorite setups to take because of what it means. Uh, Imbalances move markets. Uh, this market got out of balance and had to move. And we can see that because someone had to buy this. Uh, Whether they either wanted to buy it or had to buy it. Either way, I don't care. They were buying it and they wanted to buy whatever price was available at the time, even though the market was continuing to go up. And that's why we see trend. So this setup here happen in the Swiss franc. It could happen in the 2 year. It could happen in the Mexican peso. It could happen in the Nasdaq. Uh, I want to trade this. I want to identify this and trade this as one of the setups. Now, this is not the only one we talk about, but when this happens, it's kind of hard to ignore because we know of how big the moves can be from a trade like this. Now, I have to be in the right mental state to take it. Trading is not just setups. If it was just setups, this would be the easiest game in the world. Uh, I wouldn't do anything but wait until this presented itself. But we have the human emotion, the over leverage, the hey, I trust my strategy. I saw somebody post on X today, and again, anyone can have their opinions. But and the post said, if you trust your setup so much, why are you taking it with micros instead of minis? And I feel like that is a very short sighted uh, outlook on the markets. If I
Well,
have, go ahead, go ahead.
no, no, finish because I got something to say to that.
Yeah, and again, this is just a random Twitter post, so maybe I shouldn't even be talking about it. But if that's your thought process, right, for anybody who says, "Oh yeah, I trust my setup, so I'm just gonna leverage into it," that sounds great. Um, until it, raise your hand here, or put a one in the chat if you have a trade setup that you can take repeatedly and you've never lost on that setup, not even once. Right? Rich Layton just said, "How many combines did that person blow? No risk management."
No.
And that's the part, right? I don't know when my trade setup is not going to work. I don't have something that's 100%, right? So leveraging to the point where you're putting your account at risk just because you trust your setup. Hey, sometimes you trust something and it shows you a different side of itself, and that's what happens in our trading setups as well. Don't over leverage just because you know your setup. The market doesn't care, and it's going to do what it needs to do. Um, What did you have to say, Coach Paul?
Well, first of all, you could be right and blow your account when
Yep.
you over leverage. Period. Part of the difference between trading and speculating, I mean, excuse me, gambling and speculating is measurement. You have to trade your account balance. Period. If you are fighting
Yeah.
a battle, you have to measure how much ammunition you have.
Yep.
Period. You can't win a war and by blowing all your ammunition in a battle that you might lose. But if you do know the future and you have 100%, go ahead. See how it works.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple of dollars.
Here, it's so
Matt, that was your post. That wasn't your post, Matt. All right, keep going.
so you're a trader, not a gambler. You go ahead and gamble. I'm going to tell you from 40 years of experience trading myself and watching thousands of traders, the ones that survive manage money. They don't gamble.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, look at all the greats: Paul Tudor Jones, Richard Dennis. Um, name 'em all. They learned. They all, almost every one of them, lost money, lost accounts to start. So they were like, "Well, I need to manage my resources." In any business, you need to manage your resources. Period. So just throwing it on, and now you've lost your edge because you're over leveraged. So go ahead and do that if that works for you. But for the rest of us, I'm telling you right now, you are here to manage your account. Don't be a gambler. I'm
Yep.
going to quote an old song: know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. And I'll leave it
Never
with
count
that.
your money when you're sitting at the table.
On the
It's a
table.
great song. It's a great song.
It is a great
Uh,
song. It's so true. So
all right. Emil says it's 481 people watching and only 50 likes. Come on, smash that like button. If you can, do us a favor, hit that like button. If you like what we're doing here, if you don't like what we're doing here, hit it anyway. Uh, Hit it anyway. JD made a comment about feeling overconfident in your trade and just shorting yourself when that happens. Might not be such a bad idea. If you start seeing green, start seeing huge P&L numbers in your mind, it's like, oh man, if I was in 10 contracts instead of one, this would be a huge trade. And you think about adding, that might be the perfect time to fade yourself. Uh, that has not been tested. I don't know what the numbers are on that, but I've definitely had moments of overconfidence that were that preceded uh, heartbreak. We want to have a fair deal of confidence, but not overconfidence that we're blind to reality. 100 likes and I do a Trump impression. Uh,
I don't know
sure,
how to.
sure.
How are you going to get 100 likes?
I don't know. There's more than enough people here to do 100 likes.
Oh, I
I'm not
thought
get.
one person was going to try and get 100
Oh
likes.
no, I don't know how good that impression is going to be. It's going to be terrible. I'll tell you this straight up. Uh, but is this what we're doing for likes now? All right, let's
Yeah.
talk about markets. What do we?
We don't talk about likes. We talk about markets. We won't harass you. Just naturally do it. We might
Right,
remind you, nudge you, but we won't harass you. And if you don't like it, don't hit the like.
100%. Yeah, chat is on one today. All right. Good afternoon, coaches. I've gotten a payout since 6 months ago and blowed multiple accounts after, including evals. What is your advice for me? Slow down. You got a payout 6 months ago. You've blown a couple accounts after. Maybe you're trying to get back to the point that you were, but you're not there right now, right? You're not there. The markets aren't there. Markets are completely different now than they were 6 months ago. So slow down and assess kind of where you are right now. Maybe what you were doing 6 months ago, which might have been selling the markets while they were selling off, isn't really working right now, right? So do an assessment of your game plan, kind of review what you've been doing, and lower your position size until you can kind of figure out, if you're even reading the markets the right way. Because conditions change, right? Markets change all the time. Your setups might work really well for 3 months and then go back to not working, right? Some opening range breakout trades might work really well during high volatile times, but then we're coming into the summer in the equities, you might try to take that same trade and it doesn't work. Did the setup work? No, the conditions changed. Or the setup changed? No, the conditions changed, and you need to adjust for that. So, yeah, that would be my suggestion.
One other thing is, are you still following the plan that brought you to the payout? I mean, really have to check that out. There's a term called style drift. It's used with fund managers. Once you get and with fund managers, they get funded. They have to go. It can take up to 5 years to get real money. And you get real money, and and then you start drifting away from what got you there. It's very common because in any trading system, there's going to be drawdowns.
Yep.
What happens if you're used to, and it's usually when you're taking payouts or getting, you know, you kind of what happens, you start drifting because you kind of feel, it happened to me, you feel entitled to take a little bigger loss, take a little more risk to make up, because I'm just a winner. Understanding that there's going to be, mama told me there'd be weeks like this, months. It happens. So study you know what got you there. Understand this. I don't know how long you've been trading, but there is losing streaks and there is drawdowns. What happens in a drawdown is it's a shitty feeling. If you're not used to it, especially after getting paid out, you're like, oh, the next payout, I'll do this. And this is a really hard transition into becoming a consistent trader. You can turn around, understand what you did to succeed, and maybe it was the market was trending, and it was, April was great for you. But understand that you probably had a drawdown. I know this is very common, and then you change something, and then you then your style just drifted. It's very common. Learn from that. So the next time when you're in a drawdown, this is why I use average true range and I manage my account. I don't manage the market. No one manages the market. The market's neutral. It's not there to be managed.
Yep.
You manage your account and then learn from it. And then you become stronger and better trader.
You Good stuff, Coach. Got about 9 minutes left. Any other markets you want to talk about? I think we got a couple more questions in here. Swiss new highs. Did we hit new highs in the Swizzy? Not yet. Not yet. We're
Well,
close.
that's
A couple days ago we did.
ooh, but that could be a blow off top.
Could be. Did get that close below it.
And we have big volume. Was it the biggest? Almost. Mm.
Interesting.
At least on the daily. Did we have an opportunity today?
Yeah, this one, out of all the currency futures I decided to trade last night, I decided to trade the yen that didn't do anything. And while we had the Swiss, we had the euro, making some pretty nice moves. Definitely got a 2-to-1 trade on this urgency on the half an hour. Uh, put it there. First two, you got a 1-to-1. Not bad. Bad.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's still tough,
yeah,
but in that half an hour, I'd like to see it close above. That's where I'd like to start buying it myself.
yeah. MS said, to be honest, anyone who does really well in a specific period with a very specific entry going to get killed when conditions change unless they dramatically change their approach. I don't disagree with that. You can have a couple of setups, right? We've talked about the same setups for a year and a half. They work in certain conditions and they don't work in other conditions. I think more than anything is truly paying attention to the markets. If I show up every day and say I want to take an opening range breakout trade in the same market every day, and that market is in balance, I'm not paying attention to what the market is saying. Like Coach Paul just said, you can't control it. I'm just paying attention to what I want. So you're right. If you cannot adjust and really understand that at the end of the day, it's the market, not me. Um, if you do that with a very specific strategy, there should truly be days where you never place a trade. How
We,
often does that happen? Right, 250 trading days in a year. I kind of want to go back and see how many opening range breakout trades actually played out over the 252 trading days we had in 2024 in one market. Like we'll choose the Nasdaq. There are going to be some days where the best option was to take no trade, but as traders and as risk managers, do we accept that, or do I have to make money every day? Great point.
yeah,
A great
it's
point.
you don't. Sometimes, yeah, actually, it's a very good point. When that's because when you're trading every day, you might not be finding your opportunity. I call it trying to make money versus executing an edge. You
Yep.
have to have an edge. And a very good point. The edge might not doesn't I mean, might not. It doesn't come every day if you're trading one place.
Yeah. Uh, Shark Trends says, honestly, it's so hard to not take a trade. It is. I mean, there are times where I have to sit here and like say out loud verbally, there is no trade here. There is no trade here. It's part of the reason why I scan, but sometimes you have to do it. We've watched Dakota do it. He's a Nasdaq and gold trader. He did it yesterday. He said, "I don't want to look at the Nasdaq because I don't see anything there." Does that mean that there's nothing there? No, there were traders who made a killing yesterday trading the Nasdaq, but in Dakota's eyes, he didn't see it. And then you have people sometimes they're just like, "Oh, he's just scared to trade the Nasdaq." Like call it whatever you want, right? If I'm saving myself money at the end of the day, trade it. You see great opportunity, take it. Don't tell me that there's great opportunity. Take it and show me the money. Um,
So, speaking of money,
uh-huh.
Alexei wants us to look at Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
It's been a bit random.
Holding that 20 moving
Still
average.
above the 20. Yeah, but it filled the gap from Sunday. Yeah, I believe it did. Can Bitcoin have a summer doldrums too?
Uh
Yeah, there's not much I can say there. I've been losing dribs and drabs trying to buy it. But overall picture, we're over, what can I say? We're over two, but even then, it's just as as a hodler, I don't give a damn. Go back to zero. I'm not a hodler. But overall, it's still in an uptrend. It very much looks like gold.
yes. Yeah. I don't see much opportunity there. Again, range bound market. Somebody looks at this and says that's where I make all my money. But yeah, this is it's found balance, right? We can call it that way. Bitcoin is very comfortable trading these prices, very similar to gold. Needs a catalyst to potentially get out of here.
Let's see
And
where the opening from Globex on the half hour. If there was, God,
that VWAP probably never left that range.
both sides.
Yeah,
Once again, both sides of that.
yeah.
And then when it did, it came back. Wow. Okay.
These
No
extensions are
wonder I
fade
didn't.
opportunities. They might be scary, right? Because why are you catching a falling knife? It's like a falling paper knife. It's like a falling plastic knife. There was really no push behind that, so you could have bought it. Could have bought it. Go ahead, coach.
Oh, I just saw Coach Hoop. We didn't bring up
Cattle.
the cows.
Oh yeah. Uh, just a note for everyone: Coach Hoop is canceling his class today. He just put it in the chat. Also, he is canceling his class, and I want to thank everybody for joining. I see a lot of thank yous in the chat. Monica Lackwayman. Hopefully, I said that name right. Here's cattle. Might have been the best trade of the day. What is this trend line? Why did I draw that? Why did I ignore that?
We did
What a
that
move.
last week.
Oh wait, hold on. That's not today. Here's today's range. It's always confusing because this. Here we go. Here's cattle. Still,
Is that the 30-minute or 3
that
minute?
is the 30. We'll take a look at the 3 urgency. DNA of a great trade. Range established. Volume leaves that
Oh,
range pretty early.
okay. Cool.
It's done it a couple days this week also. So now what's going to
Yeah.
happen is if we look at it, look for it tomorrow. It's like, hey, they're catching on. Don't do it. But
Okay. They're catching on. Also, you don't have to trade every day.
yep. Cattle per
But
tick.
wow, this is a runaway market
Yeah, it is.
for.
Tick. Give me one second. I'll
God,
get that for you. Oh, I
I know.
shared the
Is it
document,
40?
didn't I?
Is it 20? I know. Boy, I should have known. I've known. I haven't cattle.
Get it
I'm
for you right
racing you,
now.
coach.
Uh, 20, $10. $10 a tick. $10 a tick.
Yeah, and that was up
A lot of ticks.
a lot. It takes 50. Wow, 500 ticks.
Pretty big move. So we went from 21.6, 216.75 up to 22, 220, 225. On a one lot, this is a $1,600 move high to low in cattle. There's some opportunity there. Did you take
Is
two?
there was there a 2 to 1?
100%. Uh, yeah, if you took a long on the break of the opening range, risk the low of that range. Got a 2 to 1 right there. Got a
I'm
three to
done.
one. You got a 4-to-1 if you wanted it. It's not going to present itself every day, but you can almost, I don't want to say guarantee, but 2-to-1's pretty good for day trading. Manage your position from there. If you think there's more room, maybe you take some off, trail your stop, whatever it is. But yeah, 2-to-1
So I'm sure Coach Hoop will have more of that when he gets back.
for sure.
Good luck at the doctor.
Yeah, good luck, Coach Hoop. All right. Let's see. Any more questions? I think we got through most of them. Do you always trade 3-minute, or does it depend on the volume and volatility on a particular day? I'm always going to look at the 3-minute. I look at a 3 and a 30. 30 is usually up on another chart, another screen. Usually, what I share on TopstepTV is a 3. I did the Coach Paul trick today in gold while it was kind of chopping around after that long, and changed it to a line chart.
Oh,
It's a good
wow.
trick. Good little trick there, Coach Paul. Good little
Yeah, it
trick.
takes that verticality out of it.
Good little trick. All right, but I think we got to all the questions, Coach Paul. Anything else? Anything on your scouting report? Anything you want to talk about before we go?
I don't have anything big on the scouting report. It's summer. You don't have to trade every day. Find
Yep,
your edge, execute your edge.
that's all it is. We're gonna go ahead and end here because Coach Robert is doing a class in Discord
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. Tech Talk with Coach Robert. He started about 15 minutes ago. If you want to, go show him some love over there. I'm pretty sure Coach Robert will be recording that. I think it's a class that he's going to be doing every Tuesday. This might be the first version of it. I got nothing else. Trade well, manage your risk. I'll see you all for opening call tomorrow. We got Coach Robert doing that class, and we got Coach Rain, Coach Vince, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Central Time, Coach Dakota at 7:30, Aaron with the London trade, London Open at 1:30 Central, D 3:30 Central. Tomorrow, so I'll have Dr. J Jerome on. That was a lot, but hopefully
There was
all
a lot.
to help you become a better trader. Slow markets is definitely tonight. Coach Dakota 7:30. Not me though. I will probably be sleeping. What's the link for the Discord for Coach Robert? Let's see. See if I can get a link here. How do you do that?
Create the coach's
There's
classroom.
Yeah, it's the link to the coach's classroom. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get this.
That's for inviting friends.
There we go. Create an invite. I got it.
Maybe
I
this
got it.
is it. Got it. I'm trying
There
to
we
do
go.
it
In the chat.
faster.
There we go. There we go, chat. Don't say I never did anything for you. Have a good rest of your day. Trade well, manage your risk, and we'll talk to you soon.